Good morning and welcome back to Trending Now. My name is Trending on Shaw. My name is Phoenix. This is Kate Hutchinson. We have three great panelists this morning. Mums. We have mums on set. We have Nicole MacPherson, who is part of meatlessmummy.com, but also the yummymummyclub.ca. Yes. We're going to find out more about that in just a few moments. Also, we have Andrea, who is part of this CEO of Schoolworks. I like how you put CEO. How many employees do you have over there?
It's me.
Well, good. Why not be founder and CEO of Schoolworks? And of course, we have a teacher here on set, Tiffany Austin, who is part of the Good Enough Mummy blogger, teacher, writer, and mom. Ladies, so great to have you here this morning. It's been fun conversation. We're going to keep it going because we've got lots of other stuff going on as well.
Yes, one of the big topics that has been making the rounds on social media is about city councillors and their drinking habits.
What?
I guess some city councillors actually keep alcohol in their offices at City Hall. Others have been seen at public events, a little intoxicated. But the mayor, Naheed Nenshi, said that there's no way to have consequences at this point for those city councillors. So what do we think of our councillors enjoying a spirit in their office?
It's returned to Mad Men from the 60s. Have you ever seen that show, Mad Men? Yes. They're shaking. They don't like this.
I'm just surprised that it's actually a thing. Yeah. I'm just surprised that people have alcohol in their offices.
Maybe because
they're professional
closed doors that they've felt that they've always been able to. Because I mean, here we're open. Well, we can see each other.
We expect these people to be adults, act in an adult manner. They have a position here in the city to a certain amount of respect. You'd think that they're not going to abuse it. So maybe that's where the trust is coming from. The mayor saying, well, we trust you not to be staggering out like Ralph Klein may have done years back.
Well, Stampede exception, Stampede always exception. But I mean, 3 martini lunches aren't the standard anymore. No, you know, that used to be back in the 80s. Nobody does that anymore. I'm just really surprised to even hear that this was a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I think of myself. I'm not sitting in my office, you know.
Enjoying a martini.
That's even right. You could, because you work exactly. I mean, when the kids come home, that's a different story. But, you know, I have a responsibility to my business and to what I'm doing, and I just think that they do too, and they need to be accountable to that. It's different when, you know, you're on your own time. I'm okay with that.
But what about at public events? So maybe they're attending a fundraiser of some sort and there is a dinner with alcohol. Should they be drinking if they're representing the city at that point?
You know, even just having a limit, you know, like 2-drink limit, I think is reasonable. I mean, I think we all have our working lives and our private lives, and I think it's fine that they want to go out and have a drink, but you don't want to see them
there's
in
social
excess.
Drinking and there's falling on
When you leave the office, guess what? You're still representing the city. So when we leave the office and we go to a function, so Kate will be hosting an event or I'll be hosting an event, guess what? We represent Shaw TV. We represent this. So if we start staggering out there or making a silliness to ourselves, we have to take a step back. And you'd hope the councillors are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I would
if they're not, then maybe they need to be looped in and say, so we're saying it's okay, let the liquor stay in the office?
No, I think, with the exception of public functions like you said, I don't see the reason to have it during the day.
Yeah, all right. Exam week has begun for a lot of kids in high school here in Calgary. They understand exactly what we're talking about. So kids basically from grade 9 on are going through these exam weeks. There's 2 of them. It started this week. One of my boys is actually going through it right now. And it's new to Alberta. It's never been done before. And I'm wondering the logistics behind this, because I wonder if they're preparing them for university, because this is very typical of what happens in university. Is this exam week thing a good thing? I'll start with the teacher, Tiffany.
I think it's great. I think the kids can have that time to study and, you know, go in, write their test, focus on the next day. I come from Saskatchewan, and we always had exam weeks there, and I loved it as a student. And I would think as a teacher too, it's also really helpful to do some of that marking in between and just prepare students.
It also is good time management, I think, for kids to learn, right? Like, you have to learn how to study.
Yes. And
your friends aren't on the same schedule as you for those 2 weeks. They're out hanging out on a Friday afternoon, but you've got an exam. So I think it taught me definitely time management growing up.
Yeah, because right now my 14-year-old, he wants to play because he's at home now because they have time to study. He wants to play, but we've had this conversation with him saying, no, son, realize that this is something that it's important. You know, so he's got to go, okay, he goes up to his room, but we balance it. Study for an hour, relax for about an hour. You know, and so maybe this is a good pattern to get our kids to think, you know, this is a good lesson to learn about how to study. So we agree. It's all good? Yeah. And they also actually allow kids to come to the school and to meet up with the teachers if they have questions.
Aren't you glad we don't have to do exams anymore?
Boy, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
Well, this young lady is keeping herself very, very busy with a number of boys in her household. Nicole, how many boys do you have, including your husband?
Well, I have, 4 if you include the dog. But 2 sons, a husband, and a male dog.
Well, Nicole MacPherson is, she has a number of blogs, but you can find her on our website, or yes, at www.yummymummyclub.ca. What is Yummy Mummy Club? It sounds interesting.
It is very interesting. It's a parenting website, and we have all sorts of great articles about parenting, health. I'm a food writer, so we have lots of great food recipes, fashion, style, all that kind of thing. Anything that pertains to the mom life or the parenting life, because we do have a few dads that write as well. And it's a really great resource for parents.
You started this, why?
Well, I started working for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I started working for it because I have a real passion for food. So I was hired to be the vegan and vegetarian recipe blogger.
But you also, don't you also write about what your experience is like with the boys in the house?
Yes, that's in my personal blog, girlinaboyhouse.com.
Okay, now that must be fascinating. Some of the stuff that you're writing there.
Yes, it's very fun because it's a real testosterone house that I live in. I mean, the guys eat meat, they watch sports, they play video games, it's all this kind of stuff. And then there's me.
How do you balance that when they're eating meat and you're vegan and they're playing video games? How do you balance that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did watch a lot of NFL on the weekend, so there's some compromise in everything. But when it comes to eating, the boys do all eat their meat. I just prepare everything on the side so that none of it touches my food.
Is that the lesson? Compromise?
Yes, compromise. Yes, yeah, it's a good thing.
But there's things that you still want to do as well too, and still things that you enjoy that you hope that the rest of the clan says, oh, wait a minute, let's go along with mom this time.
Yes, and they sometimes do that. They do kind of bend to me as well, so I'm the queen.
And they better not forget it.
Yeah.
Are you trying to convince your clan, if you will, your family, to eat this way? I mean, is it an ongoing struggle to say, here's why I do it, and I'm sure no. No,
I don't really agree with food struggles or anything like that. And that is something that they do like their meat, and I am, I'm not a meat eater.
Right.
But they know that, and they know my reasons why, and they will eat vegan and vegetarian meals as well. I try not to struggle with them over it because I think that that's the wrong way to go about it. The better way is to make really delicious things and then say, ha, that was vegan.
So if we go to your website, what will we find that you've written about? Just recipes or your experiences?
So on Yummy Mummy Club, it's recipes, experiences, tips on how to be vegetarian, or tips for parents. If, say, you have a teenager that decides all of a sudden they don't want to eat meat anymore, well, how do you deal with that as a family?
And how do you eat properly still, right?
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of balance. Like, you do need to get your protein and your iron and all that kind of stuff. And it is a little bit more tricky when you're not eating meat.
Besides you, Nicole, you have 2 moms here who have kids that are under 7. You have a 7 and a 9-year-old.
8, 6, and 2.
8, 6, and 2, and you have a 3-year-old. So is there a part of you two that are saying, maybe the vegan lifestyle might be something to try out?
Yeah, I tried to be a vegan one time for 2 weeks. That's about how long I lasted. But, I think taking the ideas of the vegan lifestyle and just trying to make healthier food in general is always a great idea for our families. So.
And we eat very healthy, and so we encompass everything. So I don't think it's part of our household, but I am appreciative and supportive of anybody who wants to do that, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get some really cool responses to your blogs as well, too.
Yes, yeah, I do. too.
People who can relate to it, or maybe even give you some suggestions.
Yeah, that's right. And I have some people talk about, hey, wow, I didn't know you could have this while you were vegan, or I didn't know that you could make this so delicious, right?
Yeah.
And oh, that's kind of inspiring. So that's kind of nice.
It is yummymummyclub.ca, or you can also go to Girl in a House?
Girl in a boy house.
Girl in a Boy House as well, too, on your Facebook page as well, Nicole MacPherson. And you can find her on Twitter at Nicole Boy House as well.
Great.
Yes, beautiful. Great. It's great having you all here this
Thank
morning.
you.
This has been great. Weather?
Yeah, let's take a quick check on weather. One last look. It's sunny out there, sort of. And we had some cloud, but
Sort of.
It's hard to tell. That camera sometimes goes a little gray. So it is a little mix of sun and cloud. It is chilly out there to start the day, but we will start to see that clear up for later this afternoon and get nice and sunny. And that'll last through this weekend. So take advantage of it, because we never know when it's going to go away in the middle of winter. It's currently -5, feels like -9 with a bit of a breeze out there. And we're aiming for +4 today. So hopefully we see some of that snow melt a little bit as we go. And then there's Highway 1 near Canmore. Gorgeous shot out there if you're headed that way.
And great time to go to the mountains if you're worried about driving. Now the roads are fantastic.
Roads
go
are
to
in
bed.
good condition.
Lake
so.
Louise, do some skiing, just have some fun. Have some fun with the family.
That's right.
And bring yourself a vegan meal.